What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Kaizen Life. My name is Guy Rogers still, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to all the people that have subscribed, left some comments. If you enjoy what you're watching, please subscribe. I really want to grow this. I want to make this more of a community thing, and I want to reach as many people as I can because I'm a massive fan of YouTube videos like McDojo Life, where they show these fake martial artists, but I don't really want to touch on stuff like that. I don't want to, break down UFCs because there's enough people doing that. And really, I just want to talk about everyday martial artists and the journey that we all face and the journey I faced. I think that my story is interesting, and I hope that you think it's interesting because when I first started teaching foot and fist boxing, as we sort of discussed, it was completely unknown. And I really had to go through this baptism of fire because every time that I ran a class, someone would come in and want to prove or show that my style wasn't effective or prove that, Muay Thai or kickboxing or something was way more effective. And I got that every night. I joke about it now with my friends, but it was hard work. It was really hard because I was always having to adapt what I was doing to keep up with all these people coming in and trying all these different styles. And even though I had confidence in what I was doing and I believed in it, it's in a world where everyone knows that MMA is these, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, BJJ, wrestling. No one has ever heard of the style that I teach. It's not a traditional style. It's not a Taekwondo style where it's recognized by the Olympics. So that was a lot of hard work to do that. So I think that what I had to go through is a little different from maybe a lot of other martial artists, but I appreciate that. It made me who I am. And on that note, I had a question from actually one of my ex-students, Sim, who was just a fantastic martial artist, very, very athletic. I remember grappling with him and thinking he's like a little monkey, he just all over you. And I'm going to try and find some videos of him. But he asked, because I've admitted that there were deficiencies in the foot and fist style, what striking style would I add or, to complement what we do? And I think it's important to sort of point out we're talking about striking styles, not grappling, because obviously I realized early on that grappling in BJJ was a massive component of fighting, and I did try to add that to our, club. But as far as striking styles, it's a really obvious answer for me. Boxing, 100% of the time. I'm very confident in the way that I kick. I know that it's not a Muay Thai kick. I know it's not as powerful, but I like how I set things up and I like the way that I use my kicks. I've fought enough Muay Thai guys and kickboxers to know that I know what to watch out for from them, but my style is quite hard to read when it comes to kicks. As explained in the Roundhouse tutorial, all of my kicks come from the same setup, so it's very hard to read what's coming. And the other thing is, and I'm not, again, please, I'm not bagging Muay Thai, I'm not bagging kickboxing, but when you switch step a kick, I know where the kick is coming from. Does that make sense? So if you turn and switch step to throw the back leg kick, which was originally the front leg, I know where the kick's coming from before you throw it. If all your kicks come off your front leg and in exactly the same way, it's just a little bit harder to read. And in a split second, that makes a big difference. So striking wise, boxing was our big deficiency. We were very linear in our movement with foot and fist boxing when I learned it traditionally, because the footwork actually came from fencing. So it was backwards and forwards. There was very limited lateral movement, and that came at Kaizen because of the limited space we had. So I started to develop that, but boxing is a whole different world. It's up close. There's a lot of that in the pocket fighting, and the head movement is far superior to anything I ever did. Just to be able to slip properly and duck properly and know all those things and how to generate power from a very short distance is just very, very important. And I think that we lack that. We used to jump forward to generate power, whereas, a boxing uses that kinetic linkage. So when they throw the punch, it's the last second where everything locks up and they're very loose. So I think that was, massive. And I had to learn that. And I love boxing. And the other thing, as far as boxing goes, is the combinations. So obviously, a boxer will throw, it's not common, but they can throw, up to 10 punch combinations. We would only ever throw maybe 1 or 2 and then out, or 1-2 kick out. Whereas boxers will pressure onto you, and when they see a weakness, they go in for the kill. So they keep throwing those combinations. And although I'm not an aggressive fighter, that is really important to learn, because if you're throwing a strike and assuming that it's going to do damage, but it doesn't in a street fight, that's a very bad mentality to get into. If the aim of the street fight is to save your life by knocking out the other person, for example, and you don't accomplish that by just throwing a single strike, and you sit back and admire your handiwork and get knocked out, that's very dangerous. So I think boxing answers that question. So Sim, that would be my answer to that question. Again, please comment, give me your feedback, and hopefully that clarifies it a little bit. So this is just a little bit of footage of Sim and I grappling. I found it, I thought I'd put it up. I think I was a white belt back here. My old instructor left me on a white belt for almost 2.5 years, I believe. So I was probably one of the longest standing white belts. I don't know why. He just refused to grade me, which was a bit frustrating because it means that I've always been a little bit behind the 8 ball. But as you can see, Sim is a solid guy, very, very athletic, hard to control. The way he takes my back here, look at that. Like, that's just slick. Hooks in already, looking for that choke. I'll give credit to my old instructor. He was very big on, being able to defend and not get submitted. So I'm pretty good at defending submissions, and did get out of this just. But again, as you'll see later on, Sim does actually tap me. And I've got no qualms in admitting that. He's just a very, very crafty little grappler. As you can see, trying to pass his guard, couldn't do it. He's really good at controlling limbs, stuff like that. Never stays flat for too long. Look at that, pulls guard really nicely. My old instructor was massive on getting really good posture. So as you can see here, I take my time. I try to get my posture right before I start to attack again. But Sim is a very aggressive grappler. As you'll see, I think there's a sweep coming up that is just gorgeous to watch. Basic stuff. He's not trying to pull omoplatas and go-go platas and stuff, but he's good at the basics. And for me, that is by far the most important thing. I know people that have got blue belts but don't know how to hip escape properly and don't know how to bridge. That's that sweep I'm talking about. Look at that. Slick. I think I go down I try a lockdown here. I use the lockdowns a lot now, but back then I was just playing with it. I didn't really have a game at the time. It was all just very much reactive grappling. Later on, I'll put up some more recent stuff. You can see that, I guess, the developments. Looking for a guillotine here. Not a chance in hell. Sim pops out really easily, presses his head to the ground. I didn't have full guard, so it was not going to come on. But yeah, great effort by Sim to not get tapped there. I shouldn't say that because really I just didn't have it in any way, shape or form. Notice here, I'm not playing an open guard, sorry. I don't like that sort of type of grappling as such. I always think if I can back out and reset, I'd far prefer to do that and get a better position than to lie on my back and play guard. Maybe just because I'm not confident in my guard. But I've, the judo back, and look at that sweep. Man, I'm getting swept all day by Sim. Killing me. Again, looking for that lockdown. It's not working for me. Couldn't get it, and he knows what I'm trying to do. He's isolating that arm, so now I'm starting to protect that more than anything else. And yeah, he probably knows that. I'm looking for that hip bump to knees under. Didn't quite get it, but at least I got back to half guard, so I sort of got out of a bit of danger there. Didn't help me in the long run, let's be honest. So a bit of sort of stalling out here for a bit. Sim's getting his position. I believe he has the guillotine locked in there. So one arm guillotine, gets his second arm in and rolls into the guillotine. And I've got no choice. There's the tap. Brilliant work by Sim. There's a bit more, but nothing worth watching. That's all I wanted to show because that was a great setup by him. And this is us sparring. So in the left-hand corner, in the center of the screen now, You can see he's also a hell of a striker. He was one of the first people at the club that really put lots of combinations together. I believe he did sand shower as well, but very, very flexible, very athletic. Also very good at actual foot and fist boxing. So if you'll notice, he drops his hand, he moves around well. Look at that head movement. Footwork is just great. Got a bit lucky with that side kick. Nice little combination there. The way he moves is just very slick. Nice spinning back kick. He's not a tall guy, but he's kicking my head very, very easily. His guard is brilliant, and he doesn't settle. So something will land and he'll keep pushing forward. And he really taught me that that what I was talking about before. You get hit doesn't mean it's over. Doesn't mean anything stops. So he'll take a shot and keep coming, which is really such a massively important thing in fighting. I love how he takes his head off the center line constantly. It's something I'm starting to do in boxing, but it's so important to not throw your jabs with your head in the same spot. I don't know what happened here. Everyone all of a sudden disappeared on us. Again, that really nice leading jab. Nice little cross. Yeah, I think he was one of the first people I ever saw that did a check hook, and I love that check hook now, but I never even knew what that was. Dan Hardy used to do it all the time in the UFC. Love Dan Hardy. Big fan of his. I don't know what that was. I think that was my attempt at an axe kick. Always good to try different things, I guess. But you'll notice also, even at this stage, I'm still sort of backing away, going in and out. So I'm not using as much lateral movement as I probably do now. If you've watched some of my more boxing-centric videos, I guess that's because that's where I really learned it. But this is a good example of just some classic foot and fist boxing against, I believe Sim was a brown belt. I'm not sure if he must have been a brown belt at this stage. So I put those up just as an example, obviously because Sim asked me that question, but also because he's a really good example of a great fighter, great martial artist. As you can see, his grappling's good, his striking's good. He really tried to develop every area of his fighting. And I think that's such a massive thing. I think that anyone that sort of settles for just being good at one thing and thinks that that's the answer, that's, I guess, from a martial arts point of view, if you're looking for just, as I've said before, the spiritual aspect, that's fine. But if you want to be a good fighter from a self-defense point of view, you need to cover all aspects. And that's not even including, weapons-based training, all that sort of stuff, disarming weapons, so on. So, they're all things that we need to consider. They're things that I'll discuss in the future. I'm going to show a clip now, which it's a bit sentimental to me. And it really, to me, typifies what martial arts is about. Because I experienced what this particular student experienced. Her name is Susan, and my journey is very similar to hers. She may not think so, but I'm going to show the clip and I'm going to commentate it a little bit, because I think this is such an amazing example of what martial arts is actually all about. So I hope that you get something out of this, and then afterwards I'll finish off. So the reason I'm putting this video up is pretty simple, really, and I say that my journey and Susan's journey are very similar because both of us were really just looking for confidence, you know what I mean? We just wanted to feel a bit more confident in our lives, to find something that maybe was missing. And when Susan first came to the club, she came with her partner Gary, who also became a black belt under me, also an excellent martial artist. But the reason I'm putting this up is because Susan was one of those people. She was very shy, she didn't talk very much, and to be honest, she went under the radar a little bit. And I just remember she was always at the club and she was always turning up for training, and I'd spar her and I'd see her getting better and better and better. I think at this stage she was only a yellow belt or an orange belt, but you can already see she's just fearless in the way she approaches things. I'm going pretty hard on her here because we were looking, I believe, at a grading for her. So obviously, sparring-wise, she has to be at that level. And you can see that she's constantly moving forward. She's not afraid to attack. She's not afraid to get hit. She does get hit a few times. That's fine. She never stops. And I say that our journey is the same in that I saw her get her black belt. I was there. I remember I felt horrible because I had to spar her full contact, and it brought me to tears because I didn't want to hurt her. But you know what? She got hurt that night, I remember, but she just kept going and going and going, and the spirit, like, she got hurt there, and I said, "Are you all right?" She's like, "Yep, keep going, just keep going," and she comes out swinging. Like, this is what martial arts to me is all about. It's finding that inner strength and inner confidence and realizing that you're more than you thought you were. I'm pretty sure when Susan turned up the first day of training, she didn't think she would ever accomplish getting a black belt, but she did. And she's one of only 2 females to have ever gotten a black belt. So I wanted to show this clip, and I wanted to give a shout out to her. So that's me for the day. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos, enjoyed the discussion, and learned something out of it. And again, I showed that last clip with Susan because I think that it's important to once again just reiterate, martial arts is not about fighting. You know what I mean? Like, someone once said to me, if you want to be a good fighter, just learn to run quickly, because that's the best way to fight. Don't be there. And I break that down to even in martial arts when I'm sparring someone. What's the best way to not get hit? Well, just don't be there. Move. Get away from it. So I've learned so much in life out of martial arts, and I really want to share those lessons with you. But hopefully, yeah, as I say, you've enjoyed the clips, you've enjoyed what I've said. Leave your comments, anything you want to ask me, or, if there's something you disagree with, I'm always happy to hear that. I love a good debate. Otherwise, next clip, I'm going to hopefully go into a bit more BJJ, my background in BJJ, grappling, wrestling, judo, have a chat about that. It's a slightly different journey to my striking one, but hopefully you'll find it interesting. Until next time, enjoy, just be good to each other. That's what the world needs.